the 4x4, you need to first know and be familiar with the 3x3 in order to fix the 3x3. If you don't know how to do the 3x3 yet, have a look in the description box below to a tutorial that I have there so that you can learn the 3x3. Majority of the 4x4 gets solved like a 3x3, except for a few differences. This is a 4-part series where we will cover the differences that come across the 4x4 that you don't get in the 3x3. In the first part, we will solve the center. In the second part, we will pair these edges. In the third part, we will flip these yellow edges at the bottom. And in the fourth part, we will look at the last layer parities that you come across in the 4x4. If you find this video too quick to follow, have a look in the description box. I have a longer video which takes you through each step in greater detail. This is part 1 of a 4-part tutorial where we will learn in this video how to complete the centers of the 4x4 so that it looks like a 3x3. In order to understand and complete the 4x4 cube, we will first have to look at the 3x3. The first thing you do is you create this 4x4 to look like a 3x3. These center pieces will start looking like a 3x3 with the edge pieces being like the 3x3 on this side. We're going to create this looking like a 3x3 in order then to complete it. But in order to understand how to do that, we first have to look at the differences between the two. The 3x3, the center is stationary. The center shows you what that side would be. Whereas in the 4x4, they are not stationary. All these 4 can move independent from one another. So you will have to understand where each color go in order to complete this 4x4. In order to complete the 4x4, you first have to create the center square block so that it looks like your white. Now, I normally start with the white. Your first side center is normally the quickest because it doesn't matter how you move it, you're not going to affect any of the other sides because they haven't been solved yet. So let's start with this side. There's a white on the front. I simply just move it up next to this one. Once you have 2 that's correct on the same side, move it to the left-hand side. So it's vertical on the left-hand side, which means that you have free movement on your right-hand side without affecting those that you've already created and corrected. So here's another white. If I move these 2 again to the left-hand side, that one I need to slide in there. So because this is the white side and I can't affect anything else, you can simply just turn it to the right side and turn it up into the right position. Now that you have 3 there, if I simply bring this one that's at the front up and I push it in there, it's going to kick that one out. So in order not to kick that one out, I need to move this one to the top left of my front side, below those 2 that's already correct. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix that one to the side here, and on the front I'm going to fix them, put them next to one another, and then simply slide them into the top next to those 2 that's already correct so that I don't affect those 2. So this one, the one on the front, needs to be below those 2 that's already correct, and that one needs to be on the top right corner so that when I slide it down, it slides in next to this one. Then I simply turn my front and I slide it back up next to those 4. Now I have my first side completed. Opposite my white is my yellow. There's already one yellow, but it might not be. There might not be a yellow there already, so you just need to know that opposite the white would be a yellow. So again, I move it to my top left corner so that I have free movement on the right hand side. On my front here I have another yellow. That one I need to move to the top left below that one so that I can move it freely on this right hand side without affecting my white pieces. So even though there's nothing there like the white side that's correct, I need to move that piece down which is going to mess up my white. I turn this yellow into the right spot next to on the right hand side, and then when I slide it up by fixing it next to that one, my white is fixed again. So now again I place these two on the left hand side so that I have free movement on the right hand side. Now I go and look for another yellow. There's another yellow. So again, these two I move so that they are above this one, and I put that one in the top left corner so that when I slide this right side down to go and fetch it, that one can slide back in without affecting these two. So I bring these two to the front, I turn the front to the right, and I slide that one up next to its friends. Now I have a hook again on my top left corner. I need to go and find my yellow. There's another yellow. The hook needs to be on the top left corner, and this one, I can't leave it there and just slide it simply up into that spot, because it will kick that one out and it will mess my white at the bottom. So I place this one again on the front left beneath these two that are already correct. Then I slide this one down next to it on the front. I slide it to the top on the right, so it lies on the right hand side, and then when I slide it up, it slides next to the two that I've already completed, and on the opposite side my white is still fine. Now we're going to turn so that the white is on the right hand side and the yellow is on the left hand side. The reason why I do that is so that I can move up and down here on the side without affecting my white and my yellow that's already completed. Now again, because I have no blocks as centers, as solid centers, I can place them anywhere for the first time. So my first block being red in this case, because two are already together, I can place this side as my red side, as long as my white is on my right and my yellow is on the left. So now I just need to go and find another red. There's another two reds. So what I do is, let's place these two next to those two. Those two need to be on my left side so that I have free movement on my right side. I'm simply going to slide these two up into that spot. The first thing I do is, even though I don't need to do it with the red, because I'm not going to mess anything else up, because the blue and the orange and the green have not been fixed, I'm just going to repeat the process just for the ease of understanding. I'm going to slide this side down next to the front two. I'm going to spin it so that these two that I want to slide in fit next to the top two. Now my red side is complete. Now if my white is at the top and my red is in the front, to the right is a blue always. So even though there's already two blue there, I need to turn them so that they're on the left hand side, so that my white is on the right and my yellow is on the left. My blue is then on the left, and I need to go and find the other blues, which is currently at the bottom, to slide into this spot, because this needs to be my blue side. So in order to do that, there's one. I can place it, even if it's on the opposite side, I can place it beneath those two. Then I simply bring this side right down to fit next to that one. Slide it once so that I can slide that one back up twice to slide in next to its friend. My white is still correct, my yellow is still correct, and on this side my red is still correct. Now I have three blues. I place that, like before, my blues in a hook at the top left corner. Now on the bottom side I see is another blue. That blue I need to place in the top left corner. So I simply spin the side so that that blue slides in and sits beneath my correct two on the left. This one I'm going to bring down so that it slides in next to this one that I need to take up. I spin this bottom so that it sits on the right hand side, so when I bring it up, I simply slide it into place. So my white is still correct, my yellow is still correct, my red is correct, my blue is correct. So if my white is at the top and I have my red here, next to the red to the right is a blue, and next to the blue is an orange. So currently I only have one orange there, but we know that this side needs to be orange. All these greens need to be moved to this side. So again, I place my orange in the top left corner with my white on the right, my yellow on this side, and then there's my blue. So there is my first one that's correct. It's in the top left corner. I'm going to place these two over there, spin it, so I have a hook. So these two green ones I'm going to bring in next to my orange. I'm going to spin it 180 degrees so that these two have moved to the right hand side, so that when I slide it up, it slides right into the one that's already correct. Now I turn this so that I have a hook on the top left corner. Here's my last block that needs to slide in. That one needs to be on the top left corner beneath those two. Then I, like before, just slide the right side down next to it, fixing it at the front, turn it and slide it up next to those two. So now if I look at my cube, my white is correct. Opposite my white is the yellow that's correct. Then I have my red. To the right of my red is blue. To the right of my blue is orange. And to the right of the orange is the green.